right, so the first thing is, so the panel strategies behind IP voice peering. I struck out peering. I don't like peering. I think it's a misleading word. It's not a bad word, but it's a misleading word. What we're talking about, I think, is a voice trend.
Because the unstated phrase is settled and free, let me guess.
Right. The peering it's perceived as a business model, and when we talk about VoIP, it's a technology. So what a business model we put on VoIP could be peering, but doesn't have to be peering. It's not because we do VoIP that we have to do peering. So just to make that clear on the way we look at it. All right, just about France Telecom. The only number that I'm going to focus about here is our VoIP customers and IPTV customers. So we have about 5.5 million VoIP customers, and that's end of 2007 numbers. Just to compare, end of first quarter 2008 for Comcast is 5 million customers. So I'll talk a little bit more just after that. The penetration in Europe and in France about voice over IP is huge, and it definitely impacts how we look at the market for voice over IP. Also, how it impacts how we look at the market. We're present in 220 countries. I'm on the international part of the business. So when we look at what we have to do in voice over IP, we don't look at it on a specific continent. We don't look at it at what the US folks want or what the French folks want. We look at it worldwide. What is it for a carrier like France Telecom to do in voice over IP, and it makes the landscape a little bit more complicated. So 3 main drivers for VoIP. The first one is a retail market. So again, the penetration of VoIP in France is 30%. That's end of 2007. Right now it's probably close to the 40%. So we have 40% of the voice landlines in France that are VoIP. Makes a big difference. Also, based on the bundles that are sold in France, there's a lot of unlimited international bundles. But like Vonage has here in the US, where you can call the countries and it's unlimited, including in the bundle. We have that became almost a standard in France. The consequence of that is 50%, 57% of the international voice that originates in France is originating from the VoIP phone. And today, most of it we put it back in TDM because that's how most of the links in international links are. So why do we go to VoIP? Well, what about that? That'll be the reason. So that's the first fact. The second fact is that the international voice is growing a lot, 135% growth. That's huge. We have to accommodate that growth. And today, when we accommodate that growth, we either can do it in TDM or we can do it in VoIP. I'll talk a little bit later, next slides, about the i3 forum, but this growth here is what we believe is going to be the tipping point going to VoIP. TDM works just fine. If you have switches in TDM that are not full, if you have capacity, there is really no good reason to go VoIP. If you have to upgrade TDM capacity to accommodate that growth from the retail markets, then you have to ask yourself the question: do you do it in VoIP or do you do it in TDM? And when do you switch in VoIP? And once you switch to VoIP, what do you do? Do you keep 2 systems running in parallel, or you force that move to be very quick? So we have this kind of issues to look at in France Telecom. The second thing is routing efficiency. When you look at VoIP, and not just VoIP, but the international market, the dialing plan becomes more and more complex. When we sell France on our bilaterals, we sell France. And we sell France fixed, and we sell France mobile. That's pretty much it. On France fixed, we have a lot of different players with a huge penetration, and the cost to terminate these minutes in France is very different. Today it's a bundle, but we need to really aggressively start looking at how do we get into a more granular routing. How eventually we're going to have to not sell France minutes, but France on France network, France Telecom network, France on one of our competitors' networks, and have different pricing according to who the minute terminates. It's the same thing in the US. You had that for a long time with the Lex, the Alex, and all that kind of stuff, but it's still sold as a bundle. We see this problematic growing and growing in France, and we're going to have to move to a solution where we're going to have to route at the digit number, and that because of cost of termination. And also, we need to accommodate this growth. It's a bit of we need to look at the routing efficiency. It's a bit of a defensive approach. We need to be optimistic. VoIP is also to create new products and new revenues. So there is a lot of services that can happen, that can be sold internationally, but that need to have IP interconnections. So it's building these IP interconnections, putting voice on these IP interconnections, and look at what else can we put but than voice. And just a few words on this rich communication suite, which is something endorsed by the GSMA, and it's basically looking at what are the new products, the new international products that can run over IP. I used to call them the new SMS of the IP era. So a few words, just 2 slides, a few words about the i3 forum. This is a forum that was created by 8 carriers, AT&T, France Telecom, Deutsche Telekom, Telefonica, Telecom Italia, Telesonar, Telecom Poland, Singtel. At the end of last year, and the aim of this forum was to say, okay, we all agree that we are the tipping point. We all agree that we're going to have to move into voice over IP for the reasons that I explained earlier. And we cannot do it slowly. We need to do it quickly. And we're not talking about small percentage of the traffic. We're talking about putting our bilaterals, which represent most of the traffic today, putting that into VoIP. So it's a lot of traffic. It's high quality traffic. So we cannot use low quality solutions. It's interconnections worldwide. So it's not just looking at the US, it's looking at the US, Africa, Asia, different parts of the world that have different network infrastructures, and we need to provide solutions to the different network infrastructures. He's looking at parts of the world that have a different regulation, and also take that into account. So we have a very pragmatic approach. We don't really develop any new standard. We just pick and choose from what exists, and we provide recommendations. So what we call is just like the recipe. We took the ingredients from wherever they are, the ITU, etc., and we say, okay, this is the ingredients you use, and this is the different recipes that we can use for moving to voice over IP. We also will talk about business models in the coming months, but so far our recommendation is to move our voice over IP, is to not change the business model, the bilateral business model that exists today. And a lot of people say, well, this is just an incumbent thing, not change the business model, not do anything. Actually, there is 2 ways to change the market. Either you can be disruptive and you have such a product that you don't have to ask anybody for anything. You just put it there and everybody will pick it up. Or you come up with a product and you need people to adopt it. And when you do that, you need to have a good reason for them to win something doing that. And in the bilateral world, it means what it means. The bilateral relationship, it's 2 carriers. So you need to bring to the table something that the other carrier wants to do as well. And in a lot of places in the world, bilateral settlement, etc., is something that carriers don't want to get away. It's up to African carriers that don't want free peering. They will never want free peering. So you tell them, well, we're going to go to VoIP, but we're going to change the business model. They will tell you no. Now, it doesn't mean that we cannot do free peering or some other business model than bilateral, but it's not going to be one for all. So to promote migration to voice over IP, we need to make carriers, the international carriers, to be confident that this will not impact the business model, unless they want it to be changed. So what exactly we recommend? So a secure solution. So we do recommend secure border equipment. So I guess the vendor side they will be happy, but we believe it's a requirement to move into IP with a lot of traffic and with retail traffic, which is key for all of us. We also recommend to use SIP or CPI. And what that means is that we do not recommend H323. So it's a bit of as far as we're concerned, the death of H323, we will support it for carriers that still want to use H323, but it's not part of our recommendation. And ultimately, we recommend 5 solutions to get interconnected. So here in the diagram, you have interconnection can be a direct link between two IP networks. So just a cross connect, and you interconnect the two backbones, or you can use an Ethernet switch in the middle, or you can use a third-party IP network. Third-party IP network being a secure network and somehow dedicated to voice network, so that could be the IPX, and the GSMA, or it could be very well the VPF. The other solution is to go through the public internet, because it's not the solution that we recommend. There are some shortfalls to that, so it's not how we want to carry our retail traffic. However, we are very pragmatic, and if you have bilaterals with Africa and Asia and so on, you don't really have all the choice to use the internet. So we are very well aware of that. And again, it's a pragmatic approach. But even we decide to use the internet, there is some security requirements and guidelines that we recommend to minimize the risk and impact of quality of the internet. And that was it for the drivers and how to do it.
Good job.